Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are back with a very long awaited PTX update. So I did a video on this a while ago. When I ordered this, it took a hell of a long time to get here. After they sent it, it was stuck in customs for about 3 or 4 weeks, which is abnormal. You buy direct, it comes from Poland. It's got to do with some way or process that they are declaring the import documents and such. So, I'm getting shipments from Hong Kong, from various other places from the US. It's coming to the UK. UPS have it anywhere from 2 days to a week. You send the relevant documents off, you sign everything you need to do, you pay your money, it comes through. So, the things that I was owed on my original order were the spare magazines I ordered. So, on the original order, I had the pistol, the compensator, the red dot plate, and a bunch of magazines. So from what I got from that was the pistol, the dot plate, the compensator, and one extra magazine. So I got we of course had issues with this as well. You plug the airline in, it dumps all the air out the barrel. You can kind of fix it by putting the airline on and sort of actuating the trigger and forcing your finger to enclose the end here, and it kind of pops, and then after that it's okay. But as soon as you disconnect the airline, you do it again, you have to go through all that process. Sometimes it will seal itself straight away, other times it just dumps all the air out your tank. So they announced that there was an issue with them and they were replacing them. So I finally got my shipment today, which came in this box here, packaged up with a selection of clear bubble wrap, pink bubble wrap, and orange packing foam. So we've got some magazines, which I'll take out. We've got this, which I presume is the engine, and then we've got a certificate of quality. Again, we had this in the original one. When they were doing these certificates, they didn't notice there was a problem. I don't know, but we'll get to that. So that's all that's in there. And there's two things I'm going to be showing you today. If you've got one that's affected and you have or have finally got your replacement engine, how to fit that, and what we might change. So let's cut this open here. Let's see what we've got inside, because I have no idea. I haven't opened this. As you can see, it's all taped up and securely packaged. But like I say, there's something to do with how they're declaring stuff through UPS. So this package got sent. It got from Poland to the UK within, I don't know, 2 to 4 days ish. We've got a complete unit here. Comes with everything. We've got a sticker on there which probably holds a little hop nub in. Got my name on there, which is probably how they're allocating them. And we have this here, which is that a sticker? So this might be to replace the sticker in the upper. Maybe that's the same. Maybe that's the same serial number. Let's have a look here. So let's pop this pin out. Take the top off. So the serial number is different. So what that means is the serial number on the bottom doesn't match anyway. So the serial number, because I was concerned about this because I'm going to be changing the colour of mine, which is why I ordered black. So you've got your engine, you've got your replacement sticker, you'll just peel this off. That will then match, that serial number doesn't even match that. Eh? K03 TMA, does that one match? No. So everything is serialized different. So that doesn't match this, which also doesn't match the lower. So you've got serial number there, serial number there, serial number for the upper, all different. You get your replacement engine, different serial number. You get a sticker with that, different serial number again. So it kind of doesn't really make any sense, does it? So let's pull this sticker off here. I don't know why all these serial numbers don't match. So there's the unit, and we're going to get to how to fit this. What is nice is that it comes complete. I don't think they really needed to do that, because I could very easily pull the hop and the barrel out of that one. But, you know, we've got some spares, so no drama there. So let's take this out here to get rid of this bubble wrap. We've got a bunch of magazines. So on the initial order, I ordered the pistol. It comes with an 80 rounder. I ordered another 80 rounder, and I think I ordered 4 120s. Then I was conversing with them through email, and I was like, look, if you don't have these magazines, because they were having problems with these magazines, you know, the equivalent money for 4 of these is about the same as 5 of these. So I was like, just send me 5 80 rounders. I honestly don't care. So then they've sent 4 120s, which I ordered, and an 80 rounder, because I had a spare 80 rounder on the initial order, but I've already got that 80 rounder. So technically I've got a free mag, which usually I'd point out, but to be honest with you, the amount of time I've had to wait, it's a nice little freebie, so I'm keeping that, because, you know, the fact that this has been in UPS. Oh yeah, the way that they do the declaration, this is sat in customs with UPS for 3 to 4 weeks, and I have been going backwards and forwards on email with UPS for that amount of time. And then eventually, because they were really confused that this got sent as, it was sent as 0 value because it's a warranty item, and UPS just could not get their heads around it. So if you're seeing this and you haven't picked one of these up and you're going to, my best advice to you would be to buy it from a local retailer where you don't have to deal with all that nonsense. The downside to that is the supply coming through the distributor, which is Beazer Tactical, to go to the retailers is so bad. I'm being told that Gate worldwide are releasing 5 pistols a day. So they've really messed. I still believe the platform is pretty cool, but they really have fudged it up. So the way that we get this engine out is actually really easy. So we take, I think we're going to need, that's a 3mm. I think we're going to need a 4mm. No, we're going to need a 3. I'm being stupid. 3mm Allen key. We remove 2 bolts off this back piece, which just protects the solenoid. Because of the way these HPA engines work, they have a solenoid that sticks out the back, which is why the PTX has an elongated back piece. So we're going to pull these out. So that's to one side. And then it's really, really simple. So what we actually do is we take the airline and we push it, and you'll see that moves the engine upwards. We just push that. We can unwrap the battery lead from here, and we can continuously push it. And then what happens is we just spin this counterclockwise like that. Now you will notice my nub is missing, and there's good reason for that, because I've made one that's better, but it's still in development. So we can take our new engine, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull the barrel and hop out. If I can get under this clip here, so I can just pull the little barrel clip there, and we can hold this out the way and just extract the barrel. Now the hot rubber is stuck in there. So we're going to try and coerce this out here. They are using the Flamingo Noirs, which I think is a massive mistake, because these rubbers, well, my initial one was quite tough, so I don't know what shore rating they were using, but we can pull this out. because I have seen many people talk about how the consistency and the groupings aren't the best. So this one's really stuck in there. My other one came out really easy. We can compare them once I get it out. So they've used some kind of a sticky grease or adhesive here. So that is a Flamingo Noir, I believe. And what we're basically going to be replacing this with, so the nub is still in there, it's held by the sticker, is we're going to be putting in a Flamingo, but we're going to be using the pink Flamingo. It does feel like they've gone to a softer rubber, but I'm going to be fitting this Flamingo 60 and trialing this out, so I could just pop that on there. They've gone with a really good hot rubber, loved by many. Dan has done a fantastic job with these Flamingos. They are very popular. They constantly sell out. But I think they've just picked the wrong one. They should have gone with the softer silicone style bookends, or rubbers, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm just maneuvering this into place. What I might have to do to get this to sit properly is put a little bit of goop on it. So we're going to lube up the outside, which will stop it grabbing the inside of the engine here. It should go in much easier. So we'll line all this up. We're just going to give it a bit of a... The Flamingos do have like a raised section on the hot rubber to help seal, which is probably going to be gripping this here. So we're going to turn that, make sure it's all in the right place. The barrel needs to go in a little bit more. That's in place. We'll push that bushing in, push the O-ring up that holds it down. Nice and easy. I'm just being careful that I'm doing this correctly. So that we've switched out the hot rubber. I will eventually switch this barrel out as well, but we'll get to that when the time comes. So we basically then just spin this back onto the hose, and we could just tighten that up with our hands. You don't have to go stupid with it. And we're just going to pay attention to how the wires are routed. So this one, I'm just going to pull it up here like that. I'm going to take the battery. Now the battery went in like this, and the wires actually wrapped around the barrel. So I'll pull this up here, and then you're just going to have to do a bit of hand gymnastics to seat everything down properly, making sure it's going into the right place. Now you might have to recalibrate your engine because all the sensors and stuff will have moved. It's of course a new engine as well. Just try and get this to sit in properly. The battery sat in with the wires sort of looped around it like so, like that. Seat that down, make sure it's fully seated. This charging lead wire just tucks in there, that little piece of the wire tucks in as well, and then we can plug it in. The board lights up. Make sure the wires are out the way here. Make sure this is seated. It seems like it's sitting a bit high. And take our back piece. This slides over the solenoid. That will screw into the back with these bolts, which use a 3 mil Allen key. Just be very careful, just do them in stages. Now, initially, because I've been messing with mine, after the warranty claim had gone in for the engine, obviously pulled the engine out to sort of prepare myself what I needed to do. These two screws initially were quite heavily thread locked in, so just be careful. Like that. That's all in place. Now we'll just quickly throw the upper on. Sometimes they can be a little bit tricky. Mine took a while to like sort of settle in, where I could put the upper on really easy. So you just have to, yes, I've still got the tape over the nub, but for what we're doing today it doesn't really matter. So what we can do in this eventuality is you loosen these two back screws off if it's tight. Like that. This will allow this to move, and then we can space the upper on like that. Then we can place this on, because this has got like a bit of wiggle room. So I'm wondering if the engine's not fully seated at the back there. Just try and pull that down as much as possible. Make sure it's not binding anywhere. Slide this back on. Put the pin back in. And then we just want to, what you're basically looking for is, this should go over that little lip at the back, like that. So it just looks like this one's a bit tight. So I'd rather it be tight than super loose and wobbling and ricketing all around everywhere. So there we go. Seems to be working. I've just got one of these, this is like a Sotac X300 Ultra copy, which they work really, really well. So I've got one for that. Right. So the magazine that came with it, which is this one, these have loosened up over time. They were very tight. Now, a lot of the time, as it doesn't happen, it will sort of drop out under its own. Now this is a brand new one. That one's okay as well. Sometimes you will have to pull them. They've got like a bit of retention there. So you press that, nothing drops out. You just give it a pull and it will come out. 120s. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one won't go in. That one won't go in either. That's nice and smooth. That's nice and smooth. What's going on with these ones then? So you'll see here, see how this mating line of the two halves is very nice and tight. That one is kind of like spaced out a bit. So might have to run these ones in. That will go in, but it's very, very tight. So they've got some QC issues with the magazines. That one's going in as well. So these might have to be, it's all probably all down to how they're machining these halves. There's going to be some tolerance issues there, but they go in. Right. Let's see if it leaks air. Now I do know people that have had their PTXs after these issues are meant to be sorted, and initially they had a bit of leakage, and then after that it was fine. There's always a tiny bit of leak and a pop. As long as this doesn't dump the air tank out, we should be okay. So yeah, if it does that, pops, that's great. So that's fixed at engine issue, supposedly. So Seems to be working. Lovely. Now, what I'm quickly going to try and have a look at is see if they've changed these hot rubbers. So this is my original engine. This is as it came. Obviously missing the nub because I'm working on that. So the barrel and hop out of this one came out really nicely compared to that new one. Like that. So we'll see if they're using the same hot rubbers. I think these are like the 60-degree noirs. Now we could go softer. Oh, that might just be me. So this is the original one. Yeah, they're about the same. So we could go to a silicon 50, which is softer still, which I think will be beneficial. I just have the 60s. I had a couple of the 60s on my desk, and it's the hot rubber I use for a lot of my builds anyway. Gas blowback, pistols, you name it. These flamingos have been going in everything. There are some aspects of the flamingo that I think could be improved. There we go. But it's like very minor stuff. Everything I seem to put them in. I do prefer the flamingos over the quad bookings. I've had not great results with the quad bookings. So on to the next thing. So the next thing we want to talk about is the magazines. So they claim these are 80 round magazines. We know that's false. So in my original video, they only held 75. And I'm going to show that to you here. So I'm going to turn the Vanguard on. In the original video, we could only get 75 in. So we've actually got it set to 80 there. So I'm going to push this follower in, if I can. So it's out of the way. Pull that down. We're going to hold down. So hopefully this won't kick it off. It will kick in the protection on the Vanguard. Here comes 80 rounds. So we managed to get 76 in that time. So honestly, I would only load 75 rounds into these things. Now we're going to test the new magazine. I don't know why they've called it an 80 round magazine if it's not 80 rounds. Maybe they're just rounding up. See, that one took 80. So there's some QC stuff going on with these magazines as well. So that new one I've received is 80, but my other two that originally came with the gun will only take 75. So now we're going to try a big mag. So let's change this. Let's go all the way up to 120. 120. I'm going to try it. Hopefully I've got enough rounds in here. 120 rounds, here we go. That one only took 115. And it's jammed. So it's or is it through the follower out? Throw the follower out. I don't think so. Oh, these don't have extended followers. What? Unless all these are malfunctioned, maybe that's the issue they had with the 120s. So the 80 rounds have these extended followers. So I'm guessing that's the issue they were having with the 120s, that they've just removed it. Oh, so we had 115 in that one. We managed to get 120 in that one, but it did feel like it was going to explode. So there are some big inconsistencies with the mags. Let's go again, mag number 3. That one only did 114. And you know, if you're CNC machining this stuff, you should be able to get it pretty bang on. That one got stuck right at the last round. But what we'll do, this one took 120, this one took 80, so Let's put 80 in this mag. Oh, now that one only takes 77. What is going on with these mags? That one did take 120. So these are 2 5s. I'm just going to whack them through the chrono and see what we get. So we've got the 80 round mag. We're going on to semi-auto. Set about 100 psi. Which is what they said. 100 psi, they were getting 320. I'm not getting that. I have switched out the hot rubber, but I'm still getting 1 joule on a 2.5. 1 joule. It's extremely consistent. It's in with, it's literally in with about 3 or 4 FPS, which is really good. So let's do the rate of fire, see what it's set to at the factory. Set to 24.9 or 25 rounds, which is fine. We are empty on that mag. You do get a couple drop out the engine. Let's do the 120. Let's see how this feeds. Semi-auto is absolutely fine. Let's dump the mag on auto. And honestly, you're going to get one left like that because they have that follower, which is kind of annoying. But that feed seemed pretty bang on for 120 round mid cap. Now I am running out of 2.5s. I'm gonna have to get some more tomorrow. What I did want to show you before we go is what I've been working on, which is this thing. It's 3D printed at the moment because I have been playing a lot around with this, but I'm going to show you what we've been cooking up. So let's put another 80 rounds in this thing. Again, didn't load 80 rounds. It only took 80 rounds the first time, so there's some jamming up going on in here. To be honest, if it was a 75 round mag, I wouldn't mind. Evo mags, 75 rounds are absolutely more than enough. 120 is great. So let's get to showing this thing off. So if you guys know about the STFU, I don't think I've got an original one to hand in front of me. It was a big 50mm suppressor. We were going to fat suppressors. A lot of companies are following suit now, which is interesting. But the STFU was a really good suppressor. But as we sold out, and we want to do more, I want to improve it. So I'm going to be talking about a couple of the points of that just at the end of this video, just to tell you what's going on, because the PTX is very, very loud. Rather than give you a long spiel right off the bat, I'm just going to show you. So 80 round mag, 0.25 gram BBs at 1 joule at 100 psi. The camera's not going to do it justice. So here is the PTX, which is a very loud pistol, unsuppressed. So as I think you'll agree, it's quite loud. It's the reason why I've been using the PTX when it wasn't leaking to help develop the new versions of the STFUs. So we're going to put a suppressor on it now and you'll hear the difference. So that crack that you're hearing is the rounds hitting the target box. Do a bit of auto. That was auto there. If I take it off, bear with me. Here's it auto without suppression. So you can tell it's considerably louder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this clear, so we are not loaded in any way, and then I can show this off to you a little bit better. So unsuppressed. I'm not even screwing this on, so it's not going to be doing as good as it can be, but we're just going to hold this on the front here. So we've made some improvements. I've gone to a completely new material inside. There are many different new materials that were offered to me from our manufacturer for the materials, and we looked at many of them. There were some materials that were used by, I think I want to say like space agencies, which this is a sample piece. It's very, very good. To be honest with you, cutting rough stuff out of it, it worked really well, but it is so reflective that we can't cut it out accurately on our machines. You try and bounce a laser off this thing, and it does absolutely nothing to the material. So it's so resilient, which just manufacturing wise, it's going to be a nightmare. Luckily, one of the materials that I got is working much better than the original rubberized material that we were using. So this is a very rough prototype. The cuts of the material in here are very, very rough. So they're not as accurate as they could be. It's a softer material. There are improvements. So I'm making modular bases as well. Probably shouldn't show this off yet, because every time I show stuff off with this suppressor, people copy it, but I'm just going to tap this out here. So we actually have a modular rear section where we can produce different styles of first baffles. Now, this one here is just the one that's been working best for me. You've seen it here first. The other major difference on the STFU, and we are doing an STFU in the normal 50mm size, and we're also doing an STFU mini. The STFU works really well. It's solid billet CNC machined material, which we will be doing with the new STFU. We'll also be doing some that are made, I don't want to say like 3D printed. They're going to be some kind of advanced polymer. It's going to be strong, but it's going to be light. The other thing that I changed was the front here. So on the original STFUs, they had a big dish design, which I really liked. I thought it looked cool. But when people were running like high joule setups in Europe, what we were finding was any residual air that was left, because they're running a lot more power than what we are in the UK, as the round left, it kind of acted like a bit of a forwards amplifier. So that could be changed. So this is the new end cap, which basically takes any of that excess air that comes out, and it's just throws it out spirally in 360 degrees. So it's just further cutting down the amplification of the air leaving. We had swappable exit baffles here, so you get like 3 in the pack, and then you could switch them out, and it basically reduced the size of the exit diameter. We will still have that, but we've also just recently developed wipes. So wipes that you can put in, they're going to be readily available and cut perfectly to the shape and size that they need to be, and they'll be very inexpensive to replace. So if you want to get even further, and the ones that I haven't got it quite here yet, but the one of these that I have with the wipes is even quieter. So it's again, it might not come over on camera, but hopefully you can hear that. It's a hell of a difference. And the reason why I've been using the PTX, sorry this is a long video, is the PTX is loud because it's running high pressure through a short barrel. You've got a lot of excess air coming out the barrel. These do dual creep when using heavy ammo. It's a perfect platform to develop this on because it's loud. If I put one of these on like my MTW9, it is practically inaudible after a meter or two. It is ridiculous. The only thing you're hearing is the whisper of the rounds cutting through the air. So there's the PTX. I've finally got my engine so I can use it. I've finally got magazines so I can use it. Interesting to see that they have made differences with the mags in terms of dropping those followers. But yeah, I did think, I'm sure I've spoke about this before, but from the initial photos of the PTX, I thought these ones that stuck out quite far were the 120s, and they're not. So that's what an 80 round looks like. Let's push this out of the way. That's what the 80 round looks like, and that's what the 120 rounds look like. So similar sizing to like a 50 round Glock mag in a Glock pistol. So much larger, but they'll fit nicely in SMG pouches. And I've got a couple of 80s that I can have. Excuse me, I've been talking too much. And I've got a couple of 80 rounds I can have just in pistol pouches and stuff. So there it is. The PTX is now fixed and working. The power is consistent. We need to test the range when the weather gets better. Like I say, I'm only switching out the hot rubber to the pink flamingo because I know quite a few people that have got these. Very lucky to have got them. Some of them had them free of charge. Some of them have paid for them. But they've been switching out to the Flamingo 60s and they said the grouping's just got a lot tighter. So I will have to check if they fitted the 50s. If it needs a 50 and it needs a softer rubber, of course, that shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. So there's the PTX. There's the journey on it. Now I can get to do some CQB before HC2 closes down in Raleigh Regis. Now, if you haven't seen that video, be sure to go check it out of their new site. It's going to be fantastic, but I do want to get a couple of games in at their old site before it closes. So it's a ridiculously big suppressor for such a pistol, but honestly, this thing is quiet AF. So there you go. There's the PTX. I might leave the suppressor on for the thumbnail to sort of trigger people, but there's the PTX. Good to go. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I've cleared up some information for you and helped you fit your replacement engine, or any questions. You can always put them down in the comments below and I'll answer them to the best of my ability when I'm available. Of course, you can get involved with the Action Discord. You can ask questions there. The link will be down in the description below. But as always, from me and Bench, thank you very much for watching, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.